Imagine your child makes a mistake at school. The teacher asks what happened. Do they say, "It wasn't my fault. He made me do it. Everyone else was doing it"? Or do they have the courage to say, "I made a mistake"? Those four words are harder to say than most people realize. Because taking responsibility isn't something children naturally do. It's something they're taught. And once they learn it, it becomes one of the greatest strengths they'll carry into adulthood. Today, I'll share 3 powerful ways to raise a child who takes ownership of their actions instead of making excuses. And the final lesson is what transforms responsibility from something children have to do into part of who they are. 1. Stop solving every consequence for them. Every parent hates seeing their child struggle. So when they forget their homework, we rush to school with it. When they forget their sports kit, we rescue them. When they miss a deadline, we find a way to fix it. Sometimes that's necessary. But if it becomes a habit, children quietly learn something dangerous. Someone else will fix my mistakes. Instead, let natural consequences become teachers. If they forget something once, let them experience what that feels like. Afterward, don't shame them. Simply ask, "What will you do differently next time?" That question shifts the focus from blame to ownership. And ownership is where responsibility begins. But accepting consequences is only part of the lesson. Because there's another habit that often keeps children from taking responsibility in the first place. 2. Replace excuses with ownership. Listen carefully the next time a child explains a mistake. "He started it. I forgot. I didn't mean to." Sometimes those things are true, but they don't answer the most important question. What was your part? Teach your child that every situation has 2 stories. What happened and how they responded. They may not control everything that happens to them, but they always have responsibility for how they choose to respond. A simple question can change the conversation. Instead of asking, "Whose fault was it?" ask, "What part of this belongs to you?" At first, they may struggle to answer. That's okay. Responsibility grows through practice, not perfection. Now here's the final lesson. It's the one that changes responsibility from a chore into a source of pride. 3. Help them become someone others can count on. Responsibility isn't only about admitting mistakes. It's also about keeping commitments. Imagine your child promises to feed the family pet, or help clean the kitchen, or finish a school project with classmates. When they follow through, they're doing more than completing a task. They're building a reputation. People begin to think, "I can count on them." That's one of the greatest compliments anyone can receive. Teach your child that responsibility isn't about being perfect. It's about being dependable, showing up, keeping your word, doing what you said you would do, even when no one reminds you, because that's the kind of person people trust. And trust opens doors that talent alone never will. One day, your child will become an adult, and the world won't ask whether they were the smartest person in the room. It will ask something else. Can I rely on you?
Can you be trusted?
Will you keep your word? Will you own your mistakes? Those questions shape careers, friendships, marriages, and leadership. So don't just teach your child to avoid doing wrong. Teach them to take responsibility when life doesn't go perfectly. Because children who learn to take ownership of their lives gain something excuses can never provide: respect,
Trust.
and the confidence that comes from knowing they can be counted on. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one responsibility you learned as a child that still shapes your life today? Let's keep building. Click the video on your screen to learn how to raise a child who respects others without losing themselves. Because responsibility shapes character, but respect determines how that character is expressed in the way they treat others, even when no one is watching. I'll see you there.